True. Okay, well, I guess here, if you're watching on Fayence's channel, he's here with me. If you're watching on my channel, I'm here with him. I think all you guys know. I think if you're kind of a fan of one of us, I feel like you're probably aware of both of us. Kind of. I think at this point, it's sort of the audiences are kind of overlapped. But yeah, we're here in Las Vegas. Last night we just saw Death to All. I guess we'll start there. Yeah, bro. What'd you think of the show?
It was unreal. So I think they announced that in 2013. They've been doing that since then. And I've had a chance to see him every time, but I never really pulled the trigger on it. And finally was because I learned from, when Sean Reiner died, I'm like, oh my gosh, if your favorite guys, you can't see him sometimes. So I was like, I got to do this for him. Especially this is Symbolic. Objectively, I think Symbolic's the best record. Critically acclaimed, I would say the most too. So yeah, it was perfect. Everything lined up really nicely, so it was incredible. So that's why I'm here, and of course messaged you, and then it was like, I hope that Chris can come and stuff, because to be able to experience with a fan and stuff like that, it's really cool too. Fan of the music.
Yeah, we were showing the lyrics beside each other. It's sick. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's so good. But the show was incredible. It was definitely the best sounding metal show I've ever been to.
Yes.
Yeah, it was not too loud, which is pretty cool, because I'm not a big fan of ultra loud shows. I always have earplugs in, but it was great. Oh my gosh. The energy of the crowd was really good. It wasn't insane, but it was very, very good. I can't stress enough how good it sounded. It was amazing. They're just so professional, so tight, and they don't feel like old timers at all.
No,
they're
certainly
way more prepared than the young guys. And they're way more special, I would say. Their show is so much more special than a lot of other bands.
Oh, yeah, man. No, totally. Yeah, it was crazy. I think during one part, I was clapping, and I was like, hold on, I can really hear myself clapping.
Yeah,
so it was nice to be at a show where the volume, even, I always wear earplugs too, that was reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah, so many times I've gone, and when things get so loud, it gets really hard to balance it, right? Because if the lead guitar is too loud, it's so piercing, or the bass gets too overwhelming. But yeah, just what a incredible, and maybe we'll splice some clips in there or something like that. This is an incredible sound. Just everything was so clear. I could hear both guitarists perfectly.
Yeah.
And the bass, all of Gene Hoglan's cymbals. Yeah, it was just easily the best sounding show I've ever seen.
Everything sounded good. The guitars were excellent. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bobby used a Kemper, and then I'm not sure what Max used. It looked like a rack of some kind. But the tone was incredible. The soloing was, I was saying to Chris that usually when I go to concerts, I hear the lead guitar sounds almost like there's a wah pedal on it, all the time. It's just how the sound works and stuff, and it always sounds like you can't really hear the lead. But this was not like that at all. Just everything had this crisp sound to it. The absolute best thing I would say is aside from the fact that the songs is Max Phelps' voice.
Oh, dude, he's the GOAT, man.
It's unreal.
I'll splice some parts. There's one part right at the end where he went from Spirit Crusher, like they went right into
Pull the plug.
pull the plug, and just how he changed his voice and how he went from immediately sounding like, late era Chuck to early Chuck. It was just crazy. I couldn't believe it, man. It's like I saw it before, and I saw it before, and even then, it's still kind of shocking.
No,
just how good he mimics.
I knew it was like I was like I'd seen Max before at Cynic in LA, and I was like, holy smokes, this is gonna be unreal, because like his voice was so good when you did the growls for Cynic there. But when they opened up with Infernal Death, I believe it was, from Scream, and he did the like, so there's the door, and then there's the high one, and the high one. Yeah. If there's a clip of that, obviously put that in there. That scream was like, holy smokes, we're in it, because I've tried to do that scream before, like for posts and whatnot, and it's like you have to have like an actual technique to do that. Like you can't just be doing what I'm doing, just going on and just being like, yeah,
because it's such a like crazy kind of unhinged scream that he does on the record there too. Like it's like kind of almost full voice, not like full distortion, and it kind of like cracks. I don't know how Max Phelps does it, man. He like nails every single different vocal.
He's a professional, right? Like he actually practices, and he understands like that I need to go from this album to this album and this type of vocal tone. He changed it even from like human into individual thought patterns. He's a pro, and he takes it seriously, and that's what. And he also, there's no like showboating from him and stuff. He's like there to have the audience close their eyes and feel like they can have Chuck in the room with them.
Absolutely.
And not be like, oh, Max Phelps. It's not the case, even though he deserves his own huge praise.
Yeah, like you said, I got to make a video on him now too, because
he's extremely underrated
twice, and like you said, like they played like a 2-hour long set.
That's so long.
Insane stamina from all the guys. Like I was kind of sitting there playing air guitar once in a while, even like my rig.
We were getting tired. Air drumming and air bassing and air everything.
And just the fact that he just nailed it, and I was telling him or Brandon Fayence, whatever, telling Fayence every day. Or that I saw them last time with the song Perseverance, the same thing, like 2-hour show, and then they ended with Painkiller, like was one of the last songs, and he nailed the Chuck Painkiller vocals at the end
crazy.
Of the show.
That didn't happen on this show, but for that show to have happened, to witness the Painkiller stuff, like even Chuck was like, man, like I can't really do that live. That was a cool studio setting thing. It's just different stuff, but for Max to do it, that's like, because you actually have to be able to sing. You have to hit a note.
Yeah,
it's not just tone, right?
Yeah.
So.
I was absolutely gobsmacked on that one. He actually was kind of hitting a little bit of notes on the Spirit Crusher, like Spirit.
Well said, yeah. He did some of that falsetto kind of like growls falsetto thing. That was really interesting. I didn't expect that. Like, and again, right? That's the detail of him like studying that Chuck wanted to go into that direction. Like Chuck was over the death metal thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, by like individual, he was like, I kind of want to just make things melodic. In fact, I saw on emptywords.org, which is a really great resource for anyone that's a death fan. That's like where the Schuldiner family originally had all their interviews and anything about Chuck and stuff. And they was talking about like how. I'm losing my train of thought here, so I'm a little tired. What was I talking about?
Okay, so I think I know which one you're talking about. So, it was like after.
Oh yeah, my apologies. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. He was talking about like the reason why I'm having all of my my melodies on my guitar to be a little bit more on the melodic kind of digestible side is because he wanted to substitute that sound for instead of having vocals, because he always wanted vocals to be melodic apparently, but moved into the guitar, which is really cool. And then ultimately that happened in Control Denied, which I still have to listen to more.
I've actually well, there's a little spoiler for you guys. I'm in the middle of writing a whole Control Denied retrospective. Yeah, really good. The more I've listened to it, the more I've really come to appreciate and really enjoy that. But one of the things, it was, so we moved on, right? And there was More Sound Studios.
Yeah.
He didn't have Scott Burns. He had
Jim Morris.
He was producing Symbolic. Good. And there's like a little clip in, there's like a free Chuck documentary on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. I can't remember what it's called. It's like, it's not Death to All. It's like something like that. It's Death to Metal or something.
Death by Metal.
Yes. Jim Morris says in that thing, it's like, if you listen to his vocals on Symbolic, he is kind of like singing a little bit more.
Yeah.
as close as you can do that
You
while
can hear
still
his
doing all the
surfy
harsh
accents
vocals.
in it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, even on Crystal Mountains, like inside Chris, like it's kind of like a little bit
Yeah,
sung.
totally. Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, so during, I guess we're gonna get real nerdy here, boys. Like this is what you guys want, right? This is what you guys want. So after for the individual Thought Patterns tour, they were touring with a band called Anacrusis. They were opening for them in that kind of disastrous European tour.
Oh, shit.
And if you go listen to Anacrusis, it actually kind of sounds a lot like what Control Denied would be. Kind of more groove influence, kind of prog metal. That's not like, there's like the Dream Theater, like super technical prog metal, and then there's sort of like the more groove influenced, kind of like Control Denied,
different,
that
longer
kind of
songs,
prog
kind of
metal,
stuff.
Anacrusis stuff. And it sounds a lot like that. So I wonder if he, on that tour, he was watching them opening all the time, and he's like, "Oh, these guys are."
Oh yeah, he was like I think there's a Richard Christie not podcast, but where he's on Howard Stern talking about like one of the rare occasions where he's actually talking about Chuck with Howard, and he's like, oh, well, like Chuck just observed stuff. He just observed everything, which means he was always paying attention. Like Chuck would have always been paying attention, seeing what's out there, listening to people's conversations, like absorbing what's happening and applying that to his life. So for sure that it would have happened.
Yeah. I just thought that was so cool. Maybe one day they'll do a Control Denied tour or something like that, or maybe they could throw in like a Control Denied song at one point. That'd be sick. Death to All, if you're watching.
I think for like for the Symbolic tour, I think it was interesting and rare for them to play Perennial Quest because I don't think that ever was played.
No, I don't think so either.
Right, and I think that is an actual true bridge to like that. To me, is a Control Denied song.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It's
very
like that's even more of a Control Denied song than I find like Spirit Crusher. Because like that stuff it was originally Control Denied, but oh my gosh, like it's just so that song has a different feeling than the other stuff on Symbolic, in my opinion.
Definitely, it's a little bit more. I don't really know how to describe it. It's like a little bit more careful and a little bit less. It feels like it's a little bit more carefully constructed in the way that there's different parts and momentum in the song. How it speeds up, slows down.
It's very
speeds
proggy.
up, slows down. Yeah.
Very proggy. Yeah, it's not as like Sacred Serenity is actually a very, very metal song. Like that riff, like the bum 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 dun 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 dun.
So groovy, but so groovy, man.
To hear it live is something else. It was incredible. Like to be able to witness that kind of music is for metal. I think that would be like that's like seeing. Oh my gosh, that'd be the equivalent of seeing the Beatles, in my opinion, for rock and stuff. Like it is. It's just it's that good.
True. I guess that's sort of like if we had, somebody who would kind of look like John Lennon, could sing like him.
Yeah.
And the other guys had
Paul and Ringo.
Yeah. That's kind of what the vibe was going.
Exactly right. Like I remember when Deathwall first came out, it was just kind of like I don't know, like what else? Which is I think a very narrow mindset to be like, oh, it's nothing without Chuck, but those guys they did it so well that it is Death. It just doesn't have like. It just doesn't have the body and the soul of Chuck, but that's all right.
Yes. But yeah, it really feels like Max Phelps is like the avatar. Like Chuck is being like channeled into him. It really felt like that at the Vancouver show.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was like a Friday in the summer. Like everyone was like, it was like a beautiful, like the vibes were crazy. Like almost after every song at the Vancouver show, people were like chanting like Chuck. It was actually crazy.
Totally. Oh my God.
So yeah, dude, it was just so good. If you guys have a chance to go see them, please go see it.
Yes.
Another thing that I was thinking while we were listening to the show, I'm like, okay, you can really hear, because they played pretty much all of the other songs before they went into Symbolic, right? So they played they only played 2 songs after they finished Symbolic, and that was Spirit Crusher, spoiler, Spirit Crusher and Pull the Plug. So they played all the other songs, including all the spiritual healing stuff before. Yeah. And it really kind of like really cemented my mind. I'm like, okay, yeah, Symbolic is just sort of, it was like on a different level in terms of songwriting and how the songs flow.
You couldn't have gone opposite. You couldn't have done all of spiritual healing after Symbolic. No. Like that's why I say it's like Symbolic is objectively the best Death album. Like it's the most thought through. It was meant to be the last Death record, right?
Yes.
Because he was kind of, he was done. He was like, this is Death and that's it and that's fine. That's where I'm going to leave it. But then Control Denied happened. But then of course they didn't throw him a bone to be like, we're not going to finance your record unless you make another Death record. It's like,
yes, yeah.
But he did. Usually when artists are in that position, they make really, really lousy material. But Chuck, no. it wasn't the case for him.
Yeah, so true. When I was doing all the research for the Controlled Mind stuff, it sort of seemed like he was writing all these songs, but he wasn't like committing to one or the other. Because there's like some demos for, I think it's Moment of Clarity, where he does a clean vocal demo and a harsh vocal demo of that same song. Yeah, you can find it on the deluxe version, I think. Yeah, so it's sort of like he was kind of doing it like. I bet he was sort of, he's a smart guy. He kind of knows, he's been screwed over many times by the music industry. I'm sure he's sort of like, okay, I'll kind of throw him a bone here. I'm not throwing out everything. I know this is what I'm known for.
Interesting.
Yeah, super interesting stuff there too. But yeah, I think. Sorry, I kind of got. Sorry, I got
no. There's no a podcast. That's what I like about podcasts is that there is no guide on what to say and stuff like that. That's why I'm not a big fan of like interview style stuff where it's like rigid. It just doesn't have like a nice flow to it and stuff. But no, the show was incredible. Gorguts is incredible. We didn't see the first band, Phobophilic, but I'm sure they're great. But yeah, Gorguts was really cool. Definitely another high importance band, just super professional, very veteran in the scene and stuff, and not just making stuff that's just for the sake of technicality or for the sake of brutality. Like nothing sounds like Gorguts. So and again, that's all I can comment. I don't know what I'm talking about with Gorguts. All I know is that there's quality music. That's all I know.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't listen to that much Gorguts. They're like I think I told you I made the joke of like I'm too low IQ for Gorguts. You know what I mean? It just kind of goes over my head.
Those time signature changes are nuts. Yeah, so interesting, so quirky.
Yeah, it was funny trying to watch the crowd like mosh to all the different time signatures and changes in Gorguts. So like they mosh and then they change. I guess it's sort of the same thing with a lot of the spiritual healing stuff. There's a lot of really jagged time signature changes in spiritual side of things.
And those are long songs, and those are very, very proggy, death metal-y songs and stuff. Yeah. He was always way many more steps ahead of the scene. Like by the time death metal was still crystallizing, he was already on to like technical death with Human. And then by the time that was kind of crystallizing, then he was already on to melodeath basically. He he didn't I'm not sure if he invented melodic death metal, but certainly he was a major part of it. Like,
well, like, Human, there's like, they play Lack of Comprehension. To me, that's basically a melodic death metal song, in my opinion. That's basically, you're almost there.
Chuck has only melody in his stuff. There's some kind of like tritone stuff or some kind of diminished kind of underwater kind of sounds, stuff like it's a little darker, but generally he's got a great melody going on.
Oh yeah, but that's, people say like Slaughter of the Soul kind of invented metalcore. There's a lot of really dissonant tritone stuff on Slaughter of the Soul too. And to me, that doesn't sound that much different from a lot of, especially, like Human, it was there. Actually, even when they played Altering the Future during the bridge with the solo, I'm like, hold on, this is like a melodic death metal riff kind of.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Totally. It's got like a gallopy swing to it, and then it's Altering the Future.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, bro. Yeah.
And a few of my students were saying like how the spiritual healing stuff actually stood out to them more because the symbolic stuff translated like perfectly, but in spiritual healing, the mix on the record is so clean and it's so like in your face, but also not like pushed and huge. It kind of underwhelms in some cases. But it live was like amazing. Oh, the spiritual healing stuff live is like I think it's meant to be live and stuff. Like I have like spiritual healing on vinyl and it sounds great, but it just doesn't have the same like raw punch that live does. But the spiritual healing stuff is a huge huge gem. It's amazing, hidden gem rather.
Yeah, for sure. Like give spiritual healing like Leprosy's mix. You know what I mean? And it's like an entirely different record, almost in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's Leprosy is my favorite death record, but objectively, again, the best I think is Symbolic.
Yeah, like when they played that opening riff after the cool guitar intro and Within the Mind. It's so heavy, man. That's one of the heaviest riffs I think I've ever heard.
No,
decent. Oh my god,
right, exactly, right. The show, it gave emotional reactions, which is what you're looking for when you go to a film or when you go listen to a band or see them play.
Oh yeah,
anything like that. Like you're not going there to be like, and actually to quote William Friedkin, who's my favorite director, Yeah, he directed The Exorcist and stuff, and he was just like, no one goes to a theater to be like, huh, that was interesting. Like that means they thought it was garbage, right? No, like we don't go to a show to be like, that was interesting, you know. No, you go there to like be like shocked or to be just emotionally overwhelmed and stuff. And that death stuff was just unreal. So yeah, lots to study from that. And I've got Chuck on my wall and stuff, and I've got the death logo on my wall. So yeah, like it was a very full circle thing for me to be able to see him live.
Yeah, man. If you guys go, like, please go support those guys, man. They're out touring.
Yeah,
A
when,
lot
when yeah
for
when
that
you're home
film.
on
They deserve it.
vacation, like here in America, where they had Thanksgiving and stuff, right? They're away from their family to entertain us. Like that's a tough job. I don't do it, you know.
Yeah, well, their touring would be crazy, you know.
It'd be awful. I would.
I'd like to do it like once, and then just to say I did it.
Chuck
and I'm
hated it. Mom had hated it. Yeah, I don't think I'd like it. You have to be a very patient person. You gotta, and also nowadays you have the ability to not have to do it, right? Like
Sure.
back then you couldn't just be a musician and not tour.
Yeah,
There's no revenue stream for it. Like
great point. Yeah, it's kind of interesting now. It's almost sort of like the worst and also simultaneously like the best time to be a musician kind of now.
yeah,
It's like the worst if you're trying to do it the old school way. But I think you're doing something cool, very cool in the way that you're building your brand, for you sort of like the modern lingo with like all the content that you're posting, right? And then obviously made an excellent record to go with it. So I think that's a really great way to do it. Same with Archspire too.
Yeah.
Sort of the same thing, right? It's sort of you need to become. I don't want to say like the music can and should like speak for itself, but you kind of need to be more than that now if you
I
want to
think you
create a career in music, I guess.
well, I think you need a personality.
Yes.
You need
Yeah.
something that is again, Chuck Schuldiner is a personality.
Yes.
There's people that are way better, were and are way better at him than technically speaking, but it doesn't give that emotional response out of people as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Chuck, like and Muhammad, for example, another big inspiration for me, Muhammad Sweetschmitz from Necrophagus. He, he's awesome and stuff, but he's here, and there's something about Chuck Schuldiner that strikes emotional chords with like ripples through people's lives that Muhammad doesn't, and that's why
For
Chuck's
sure.
special. I don't know what that is, but it's something.
Yeah, it's probably the fact that he was one of the pioneering death metal guys, but then didn't just stay in that lane, evolved it,
Yeah,
and influenced so many different bands and people, and then of course very tragically passed away young.
Yeah.
Whereas Muhammad sort of just has like this everlasting mystique around him. He's
Yeah.
still around, but he just kind of left it all behind. Made two masterpieces, and then it's sort of. But if you think about it, it's almost Necrophagus, the music has spoken for itself so much over the years that his mystique has only just like increased. Like probably more people know him now than ever.
yeah,
For
that's
sure.
that's
You know
what
what
I hope for, right? Like, because when I got into them, they were still touring. They were still a band. They were still going. I never got to see them. I was just like 1 month behind, unfortunately, from seeing them. But, yeah, like it just shows if you make great quality art and you have a unique personality that you help inspire people with and stuff, like good things will happen.
Yeah. I guess here's the other question for you. What do you think we're going to see Max Phelps doing Necrophagus for all tours?
I hope so.
That'd be,
I hope
dude,
so.
that would be insane, man.
That would be
insane.
well. There's these kids out in Berkeley. I forget if it's in Boston or if it's in California, wherever they are. But they're doing that. I think they're like a 6-piece band or something like that.
Really?
They're doing they did a like a Necrophagus set list and stuff like that.
No way.
With vocals and everything. So
I didn't even know that.
yeah, so like kudos to them and stuff, right? Like I hope that they can get a budget behind them that I can get on the road and stuff because there's demand for it. Tech death will always be underground though. Like it's
Yes,
never.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like that death metal or like melodic metal of some kind will always be like have more customers or fans or whatever. But tech is always going to be a little bit more underground. But you can still make a great impact in it and stuff. That's kind of the lane that I'm in. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, man, just so cool, man. Those two bands is like, of all the death metal bands that have been around, it's like those
They're
two to
special.
me just seem so something like the mystique around them, like the tragedy around them.
yeah. Well, I say this to my students, and I just
Crazy.
kind of realized that you got Josh Schuldiner that physically passed away, and then you have Muhammad that artistically passed away.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So it's two deaths in metal, right? But like spiritually or physically, you know what I mean, or emotionally, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's too bad. So those are two tragedies for sure, death and Necrophagus. But again, good material can outlast, and just because those two guys decided to pick up a guitar, look what happened.
It's true. You know, it's like Macho Man Randy Savage says, the cream always rises to the top,
The
right?
cream.
The cream. You know?
Oh, I've seen that. That's the funniest thing ever. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. His promos.
They're all the best. Yeah. So it's like, you know, time sort of filters out a lot of the noise and chaff and leaves you with like the best stuff every time.
I think so. Yeah, like Dallas Tolerway said this really well. Like he was doing a show, like kind of one of his later shows at Nile and stuff, and he's like, it's great to see everyone here and stuff. Now all this pop stuff on the radio, that stuff comes and goes, but metal always stays, true and stuff, and the fans are big time fans,
Absolutely. You know, Evelyn and I were talking about this the other day. Metallica in Edmonton, where I live, right? They sold out 2 nights
Yeah,
at our huge football stadium, like 7,000
that's crazy.
people. I was thinking to myself, like, is there another artist that like could do that? Who's around
in
right
extreme
now?
music and extreme music that Metallica's extreme music, like that's
Oh, yeah.
that's rock metal,
Dude,
what
for
I mean?
sure, yeah. But dude, Master of Puppets, that song has over 1 billion streams, and that's a really
And
like
that's
dark, oppressive,
and that
heavy,
well,
progressive
that's
piece of
only
music.
that's only since what, 2009. What about all the records they sold before that?
Yeah, man, yeah.
No, it's big deal. Like,
Well, no, that was recently, bro. Like this summer, they 2
oh no,
nights.
what's that?
That was this summer that Metallica did.
Oh no,
two.
I'm talking about the
yes,
streams
yeah.
aspect
Yeah,
of it,
oh,
right?
yes, yeah.
So like it's impressive to have like, Ed Sheeran come out in 2017 with Divide or whatever and have that many streams on Shape of You, right? But then
Oh, yeah.
yeah, right, exactly,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's a great piece of quality music actually too. But no, like decades before Metallica is killing it. They've been killing it since 1983 or 82, whenever they're in the early scene. So yeah, no. But when Metallica and Megadeth are actually done, the metal world will be very different. It's like
Yes,
it's like in the
yeah.
investing world when Warren Buffett passes away, like it's a different it's a change of the zeitgeist.
Oh, dude, absolutely, yeah. And I think we're going to be in for that here right away, right? You know, Megadeth is on their final tour. Metallic, supposedly,
Pay the bills to
you
it.
know, Iron Maiden's getting pretty old too. They're
I can't
probably
believe they're still
turning around,
going.
right? Yeah, the Ozzy Osbourne passed away this
Yeah,
year,
right. So that
So-
also, the again, like that's part of the zeitgeist changing, right? Like the founders of extreme metal, or metal, are either retiring or passing,
yeah.
and it's just different. So it's like, but what makes them great, right? And that's the question. Like, how do you like make music that's not just participating in music, but like leading the charge in something, what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, and that's a tough question, right? Because it seems like so many
I don't
things
know the
haven't done
answer.
in metal. I don't have the answer either. Do you guys have the answer? You know, leave it
Yeah.
in the comments.
Well, yeah, well, the listeners know, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because I'm jaded because I make music, right? So I have a vision for how I want to make it. But if I was strictly just a listener of music, then like, yeah, I think I know what makes something great, which is, like gosh, what I like about Death and Necrophagist and let's say Megadeth, like Rest in Peace and stuff. I don't know. It's just extremely genuine, super thoughtful music. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Like it doesn't know it's awesome kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just there's a genuineness about it. All those bands.
Yeah. There's just something about Rest in Peace that is just like another level with that record too. Like every time I listen to Rest in Peace, I'm just like blown away. And, like there's hardly any other records that do that.
Oh,
Like every time you listen to like Take No Prisoners, I'm like, dude, what do you? How do you write this? Like
Yeah, even Dave Mustaine said he's like, how did I write this? Like, well, again, like you're just like this artistic flow. It just works and stuff. You got the right people, the right time, right place, right? You got Marty Freeman. You got I forget what the drummer's name.
Nick Menza.
Nick Menza,
He killed
right?
it. He killed
Yeah.
it.
Dave Ellison, a guy like a rock that's kind of by your side and stuff. Everything was correct. Just the right time. Right timing's everything. Right.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Muhammad was in the right place at the right time too. Chuck especially, right?
But
Florida,
oh,
of all
yeah.
places. Even though it
Places.
wasn't just him. Like there was other peers that were like they had this inclination to like want heavier music. It wasn't just only Chuck and that was it. There was tons of other people.
Yeah. So you go to Wonder Man, Muhammad in Germany, like he kind of seemed like he just sort of you know, it's almost sort of like a, you know, obviously there's lots of metal bands in Germany, but it's sort of like, you know, you have like a field of concrete and like one flower pokes up, and that's sort of
Yeah,
Muhammad Sweetmas coming out of Germany with this
I
crazy,
know.
like unbelievable, groundbreaking tech death. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like, what was going
the
on?
reason why he'll never, or Necrophage will never be replaced is because it's a human being with extremely high intellect made that album. Like, there's
Yeah,
other people
true.
that are smart and that have made technical music, but he's like, he's a savant. Like, he's a genius, and that kind of a mind, you know, can't be replicated. And so that's why it's just one in a trillion chance that a guy like him got into our kind of music.
Yeah, and like picked up a guitar when he did. You know, the drum programming came out when it did.
Exactly,
You
right.
had that
Timing.
drive to just sit there and like record all that shit, like in
You
his. What you had recorded like in a closet? You said the first on-set music factory was it or something?
Onset was recorded in a rehearsal space. I think that there's a photo of it on their old website. If you go on like Wayback Machine, you can go on Necrophage D, and it's got old photos and stuff.
.de.
Yeah, exactly,
Based.
exactly, totally. And it's just a rehearsal space. So just I think he had some foam padding on the wall, and he would have just gone there probably after work and after school and stuff, and just worked his butt off for like 2 summers, I think it was.
Insane, man. Insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then the drumming, that would have been awful. Like, I hate programming drums, let
Oh my
alone on an
God.
actual drum machine. That would have been awful.
What would you do? You program them on a Guitar Pro, or do you actually get in, like a DAW,
I would program them on a piano.
like a piano roll?
Yeah, yeah, like I had my piano with me, and I would actually.
Oh my
play.
God, bro, you're a sicko. You know what do you hate drum programming? Bro? You gotta get the
Yeah,
piano down.
I would play I would play like I'd have my double kicks and I would play them, and then I would, you know, then obviously like I can't, like, you gotta quantize that stuff obviously, so
Yeah.
I would actually like play the cymbals. Like, I never drew in stuff. I
Really?
always played it. Yeah.
Oh my God, bro, that makes
Yeah.
it like even more.
And
impressive. Holy shit.
I on my song Crowd Control, that's where I was like, this is the best I can do, and I'm done with doing drums. I'd rather spend the extra money to hire my hero,
Yeah, no, that totally
Fabs
makes
Crossman,
sense.
right? So
What did Honest think of your music when you sent it to him? Like, did he give you any
he
feedback or say anything about it? Or?
he said he liked it, but at the same time he's like, well, it's not really my kind of brutal music and stuff, but this is very interesting,
Yeah, a little bit
and it's
too much,
unique.
bro.
And he said it's unique and stuff, and he likes working with me, which is really cool, and I love working with him. His instincts are insane. So yeah, he didn't really say too much. I didn't really ask too much either. I was
Yeah,
just
you
kind
don't
of
want
like,
fraud, yeah.
yeah, but like, if he didn't like it, I think he would have said no.
True. True. 'Cause he
At the
probably
same
doesn't need to,
token,
but-
you know, session musicians are not supposed to really have feedback like that. But like, for example, if someone handed me like some garbage stuff that I didn't feel like represented my playing very well, I wouldn't do it, no matter what the money was,
True.
right?
True.
So at least, but I think he's gonna like the next one though. The next one's actually like, it's not testing out melodies that don't belong there. Let's just say that.
Okay. I'm excited to hear it because I think your Repose of the Soul, and I've like showed it a lot. Honestly, I actually legit love it. I'm not even
Thank
trying to
you, I
gas you up,
appreciate
bro. It's like it's just so unique to me. I'm like, I love fast technical music. I just hate when it's all, you know, tritone, diminished chords. Like, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
right.
that's cool. That's cool. I just love melodies, and I love how yours is like fast. It's like melodic tech death, really. It's kind
Yeah,
of
it's
how
got-
I describe it.
And it's melodic, but also like the melodies are way less heavy than actual melodic metal.
Yes.
Like, it's bubblegum bright stuff, you know, it's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
majory, which is like Blink inspired, but it's got like phrasing and aggression from Chuck and Mohammed.
Oh yeah, like,
You know?
the crazy picking and the blast beats and everything like that. Yeah, I like, honestly, like, yeah, some of the most unique stuff I've heard. It's just such a concept. Like, what if I just made tech death, but you know,
Yeah, I don't know, and who knows,
Melodic,
it could catch on. I don't know, but like, for example, Owl City, I love that guy because he's a great example of a one man vision that against
was it a
all odds.
one man guy?
Yeah, like
Really?
Ocean Eyes, where Fireflies came from. Like, he did that in his mom's house.
No way.
Like,
You kidding me?
again, like,
From FL
yeah,
Studio
yeah,
or something
and that's
shit?
Logic, yeah, and that went #1 in 24 countries, and you could do it from home. So that he was like the first guy to really do that, and so again, the trailblazer, right? But his music is so quirky and so
Yeah,
unique
yeah.
that not one person's doing an Owl City style thing. It's not like it spawned a genre. It didn't do that, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is, you know, not to say what I'm doing is like inventing something, but it's just my vision
Yeah.
for how art should be.
Well, you know what's funny? I think Fireflies was my high school graduation theme song. I'm not even
Nice,
joking.
totally. Well, yeah, like, and it's so weird. Like, most metalheads don't like that, hate it and stuff, but it's actually like good, genuine music. It comes from a guy that like is not financially motivated. He's just motivated to make something really cool, and that's a special album and stuff. Ocean Eyes, it's very cool.
Yeah,
Again, it just shows like what you can do if you just have a vision.
Yeah, I love all the pop music. I think you guys probably know, or maybe you don't know, I guess. But yeah, I love all the pop music too, and yeah, I just love big grand melodies, I guess. And yours is full of
Yeah, again, that
I do love
usually pulls emotional response out of me, so that's where I go to. Like, I don't get emotional or get a good feeling from just a whole bunch of tritones or just like a whole bunch of minor thirds musically and stuff. Just like it just kind of I just heard it before. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard it
Yeah,
before,
been
and
done.
it's I don't know. It's just again, I don't want to be the guy that goes out of the movie theater thinking, "Well, that was interesting."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I want to have that emotional response, right?
Oh man, dude, yeah, I just love it. But yeah, it's just funny how
Yeah, and it's good to pull influences from other places. Like when I was making Proposal to Soul or this next one and stuff, I'm not really focused on at all on any other metal bands aside from Death and Necrophagist and then everything else is just like from William Friedkin, my favorite director,
Yeah.
or like how Marco Pierre White, who trained Gordon Ramsay, how he views
Marco Pierre White. Okay,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we're getting to the real shit.
yeah, how he views his art and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and what it like he's of the philosophy if you have your name above your kitchen, then you're behind your stove. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you as the person is very like your soul and character should be all throughout the entire production of the music. That's why I always be in the producer seat from now on.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man. It's like Marco Pierre White, Gordon Ramsay. Those guys were like basically the exact same age as like Chuck, kind of coming up at the exact same
think they were
period, like
born in the
late
60s, yeah.
80s.
Yeah, they're born in the
Yeah.
'60s and stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever watched? You can find it on YouTube. It's called Boiling Point. It's like
I
Gordon
have.
Ramsay opening up his first restaurant.
Oh yes, I have. I've seen that. Yes, for
Dude,
sure, I have. Yeah,
That's an
exactly.
inspirational.
No,
thing, too.
totally.
Oh my god.
And like, yeah, that's a competitive dude and stuff like that. Yeah, like unreal. Marco Pierre White, I vibe with a little bit more because he's a lot less showboaty and he's not as good of a marketer than
Yeah.
as he's just like this raw, like talented, visionary guy. And obviously, like it probably cooked his brain a bit being in the kitchen like that for because like
dude,
you would have no life. It'd be like Steve Jobs,
Oh yeah.
There was no life outside of Apple.
Yeah,
There is no life outside of Marco Pierre White's place. And then, for example, Chuck, I think, had more, like, as we found in that Hulu documentary, which is something you definitely have to watch, the Hulu documentary in
really
Detroit.
good, man. So good.
Whoever Disney had hired to do that knew what they were doing. It's not just some weird cash grab. It's actually incredible. So Chuck had a life outside of death. And he made sure to do that. Like, he wasn't just I only do death metal and I only do. No, he had a good family life. He had a good, relationship with people and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it comes off like in interviews, like it's said so many times, but he just doesn't seem like the regular death metal guy. Like the Florida accent too. Is how funny helps that.
It's so funny. Yeah, he's the most like non-death metal guy ever in terms of how you perceive a personality of a death metaler.
Yeah, the same guy who did that infernal death scream. He's
like that's
I love
like,
it.
like,
I didn't use it for
like think about it. Like when you take a listen to Scream Bloody Gore, it's scary sounding. I remember when I first started, I was like, and this was in 2009, so this was way after it came out, and I was like, holy smokes, this is like scary stuff. Like I should be listening to this, and then I can imagine what it was like back then for people.
Dude, honestly, I couldn't even imagine. We're so.
That would have been shocking.
I just think we're so kind of spoiled now because even before I heard lots of death stuff, I heard lots of really heavy shit, right? Probably would have heard, Cradle of Filth before. I heard death, you know what I mean? Demon Gorguts, all that stuff. But even when, you listen to like Scream Bloody Gore, I'm like, this is just like a horror film on like, on like a CD, you know what I mean? It's like, it sounds,
It's just scary. Again, the tone's right, the production's right, the tape hiss is correct. Everything's just right,
Yeah, okay, so when you got your album mixed, did you guys like run it through any sort of like vintage kind of analog gear?
I wish. Oh well, actually, wait, sorry. It was recorded digitally at my house.
Yeah.
And same with Hannes, recorded digitally. I wish it could have been recorded on tape. I wish, but just too expensive. And then I recorded only analog. No, so I had only my amp that I mic'd up, and then I had a preamp that was on my Universal Audio Apollo Solo, but that's a digital preamp.
Yeah.
And then I think when I sent it over to Christoph Brandes from Iguana Studios, who did all the Necrophagist stuff, I think he would have run it through outboard gear, which is analog stuff.
Yeah, like a tape emulator. Yeah,
I actually don't know. I have no idea what stuff he did to it. I just say, here's the sounds I like. Give me your instincts, and then we got it within I think like 6 or 7 revisions.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think it sounds great, and I've worked on this so much, man. Yeah, I love it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, all from a bedroom. Like you don't need to have this crazy $10,000 studio to do stuff. You don't need stuff. You just need to have that vision and that quality ear for sound.
Absolutely, man. Another thing you said, I think you told me a while ago, but it's deliberately mixed a little bit quieter or mastered, and I love that because every time I listen to like a new band, like 2025, it's just like hurting my ears.
I can't stand it.
You don't, it doesn't need to be pushing the limiter. You don't need to try to compete on Spotify.
But that's
the next
trend,
song.
right?
It's like enough with like the loudest voice has gone way too far.
Yeah.
I thought it was just such a breath of fresh air. Like
everything
sounds
sounds sandy.
Yeah,
nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything sounds sandy and really like pushed, and I can't stand it. I actually hate modern production a lot.
Oh,
So when I did it, the guitars were mic'd up, which is really rare now.
Yeah, super rare. Yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah.
Really rare. Extremely time consuming. Almost no flexibility. Well, no, there was no flexibility. So to get technical, most bands, they will, if they do record with mics, they have another box that captures DI, which means you have flexibility to reamp it and put other distortion on it, or completely not even use the live song.
Mix them with whatever. Yeah, for sure.
On Epitaph and like Death, so just again, like two focuses, they had one shot to record it, and it's like if you got that good take, that was it. There was no changing it. You could maybe do some EQing, or compression, but you can't do anything else. The shape and the tone is what it is.
Yeah,
I had no flexibility, and that's what I wanted. It's like play well or don't do it.
No, totally, man.
And
I think it definitely shows. It definitely feels more raw and organic, and it sounds. I think
And again, the feel aspect, right? Like
feels good.
I want it to feel like something. That's what my goal is. My vision is to have it feel like something. Because I find that stuff that is completely DI'd and completely snapped to the grid, like 100%, the humanity is lost. And you're letting the technology, it's like be the crutch.
Yes, yeah, it kind of takes over, and there's no sort of human feel left. And that's another thing too, right? You can sort of edit DI guitars like crazy, but you can't really edit a mic'd amp that much. Like you can kind of scooch stuff over and stuff, but you can't like. There's not nearly as much flexibility as editing DI guitars.
Well, yeah, like a DI, you can see precisely where it is, and then you can have it snapped to the grid and have it be all, and there's so many tricks. There's more tricks that I don't even know of because I just focused on old school style. But
yeah,
I just wish more stuff is recorded like that. But at the same time, I'm lucky because I get to do it at home. If I had to do it at a studio, there would be 0% chance I could have done that, right? Like the cost of that, people's time, no way. Just no way. And most people do go to a studio or like get some kind of, they record it at some engineer's house or some engineer's studio or whatever, and that's just time is money.
Yeah.
But I could do it all at home.
So you're recording at home. You had your amp cranked. Did you just do it whenever your girl was out of the house, basically?
No, I did it every day.
Oh,
every day. Yeah, I'm very, very, very lucky. Very lucky. She doesn't mind at all. So yeah, it's nice. It's for anyone that has a half stack. So it's 4x12 cabinet, and the 120 watt tube amp was at half volume. So, which is really loud. It's really loud.
That's cranked.
It's really loud.
Yeah.
Like it's and my cabinet is in a closet, and it's mic'd up, and it's got sound shielding and stuff around it, and then that's what I use. So I could have the head outside of the closet, and I could dial it, and then I could be on the computer and record it and stuff. And it was I'm still burnt out from it.
Oh, I believe that, man. Have you gone and checked all the bolts and screws near that room to make sure it didn't rattle anything loose? Dude, I can't imagine the 120 watt amp cranked.
It's definitely vibrates a lot of stuff. I just hope the house is built well. Yeah, quite something. Yeah, no, but it was fun. It was cool. But the next one will be done like that too. Yeah, the next one will be done like but I'm gonna punch in tighter because I recorded like too long of segments in my opinion. It wasn't as tight as like Epitaph would be and stuff. So I wanted just a little smaller punch-ins and stuff.
Yeah.
And but still no like I won't be doing any snap to the grid crap on my guitar.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense to me, right? You record something, you learn as you go, right? Not everybody,
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless
I've never recorded an album like all my previous stuff was the album before that, Shrinking Violet, was like
which is really good, by the way. I really
Thank
like
you,
that one
appreciate
too,
it.
actually.
That one was half recorded at home with a one mic setup, like super garbage or super bad. And then the other half of it was recorded in Vancouver at Armory Studios.
Oh, really?
So yeah. And then the album before that, Fade Away, was recorded completely in LA at Sunset Sound, and then also in Vancouver at the Armory. And that had an engineer, and I didn't have any physical input on it. But like the shrinking or Repose the Soul was completely done by me, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, holy cow, this is really hard. Really hard.
Well, now you know for the next one.
Yeah, for the next one. The next one's gonna, like, I know what I'm doing ish, and I hope that it comes across even more tight and better.
Now, okay, I don't know how you want to chew. We can edit this too, but
Totally.
you still got the whole other thing written. Oh, I got my phone. I can.
On your watch.
Oh, I didn't set it. Sorry. There's a clock over here. It's not
going to splice that out. But yeah, that's what's going on with my stuff. And you're recording right now too, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I finished recording all the rhythm tracks for me. I just did DI. I didn't want to bother everyone. I don't really have like a good spot to put nice mic'd up cab either.
Well, and you got to do it like loud. And if you don't have a place to isolate the sound, it's just like, don't even bother.
Yeah. Yeah. My my Valstate 8080, it sounds good, but if you put it like the gain a little bit too far, it like kind of starts clipping and cuts out. It needs to be repaired anyway. Something wrong with it. Dude, and the guy in Edmonton, I sent him a message. Dude, 9-month wait to fix tube amps.
What?
From this guy. And he's like the best C4 Soundworks. I think he might be the only guy at Edmonton actually fixing tube amps anymore.
It's easy. Better for you just to drive down to Calgary and do it.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you needed to.
Okay, send me if you know a guy, send me that. I need to get
Steve, our guitarist, he's been doing my stuff since I was 15.
Yeah.
And still does to this day. And he contracts out his tube amp stuff. Yeah. And it's like, to retube my amp would be $200 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
And it's like a few days turnaround.
Yeah. So what I've actually been doing is like when I just play, I just have like a 6505 like MIDI head. And I just wired that into like the speaker.
Nice, yeah.
So it's like 6505 going into G1275T. Sounds pretty good. But for my album recording, right, it's gonna be like melodic death metal. Took a lot of inspiration from you, like after you came out, it kind of like rewrote and organized all the stuff. And to me, I'm like, okay, so I'm recording at DI. This is gonna sound like I'm sniffing my own farts a little bit, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to treat it like it's an actual studio. So like, okay, every song that I'm tracking rhythms for, I gotta get it done in one day.
Yeah.
So like, practice everything for that song, and then you just get it all done in one day. Like there wasn't me spending multiple days on one song.
Okay, interesting.
So I had to get it all done, and I'm like, okay, if it's not good, or if the parts aren't perfect, well, you got one day to do it, sort of thing, and then I'm gonna go back and spend one day that I'll get to go do punch-ins after.
Totally.
So yeah, that's the way I'm trying to kind of bridge the gap, I guess, between having, because that's a problem, right? So like infinite or paralyzation of choice, right? You can spend forever getting the exact perfect takes. Especially when you're recording DI, right? You can spend forever doing that. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna set, try to put a limit on myself. Like, hey, one day, that's all I get.
I can't stress enough that William Friedkin's quote about he's like, I don't ever look for perfection. I look for spontaneity and a tone and a feel.
Yes,
and like that to him is better, and that to me is better as well. Like, what if one take is not actually as tight, but it's like, whoa, like that has like a really, really cool sound that makes me feel something. That's the take you keep.
Yeah.
Even if it's not as perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of my thing with it too. And when I was recording, sometimes I would change some parts that were different from like how I wrote it. So it's kind of, it should be pretty cool. And yeah, so now the guy doing all the leads, he'll be doing the leads right away. And then on real drums will be recording stuff like that. So
that's
hopefully I'll be able to share that with you guys. Well, if you tune into the stream, sometimes I show the demos Fridays on the afternoons.
Yeah, as soon as it's ready, let me know. I'll post it as all my stuff too.
But yeah, hopefully you guys see that, and I think it'll be sick too. I'm really trying to follow his vision, right? Just have a vision of what you want to make, and what I want to make is like melodic death metal, no clean singing, no keys, just riffs, melodies, and catchy, solid, tight, concise songwriting. No meandering. Perfect. I'm not wasting your time. There's no long ass intros.
There you go.
Just get to the
right to the point.
Just get
I
to
love that. See, I think that's gonna go well. I think if there's a demand for it, I think that people like that. They like an authentic, like, almost like that's like the core root of metal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
is like storytelling, but at the same time, like just rowdy,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's just rowdy. That's what metal is.
Absolutely. And some when I do the vocals, I can do the same approach, like one day, one session for each song.
Yeah.
And if it's not good, well,
So,
you know, I'm paying for studio time. You know, I can't.
yeah,
you know
no
what I mean?
kidding.
That's
Yeah,
not
like
something.
I'm not that like I can work under pressure, but at the same token, I don't think that I could do what you're doing. That would be really tough. So kudos to you.
Well,
You do that.
your stuff is like way tougher than mine. I made sure like the rhythm
But at
parts
the
were in
same,
the heart.
I don't know, man. Like, at the same time, like I don't know, like if I was thrown in your recording position, I don't know if I'd like play it any better than you. You know what I mean? Like I'm familiar with my stuff and I'm familiar with how like my playing goes and stuff. But no, that's something I try to tell all my students and stuff is like and myself like there is no easy music to like
True.
to play like
Yeah.
to play identically to Tom DeLonge would be very hard. To play identically to George Harrison would be really hard. To play identically to Chuck, you know,
Yeah.
you know all that stuff, right? So
True.
it's all hard.
Yeah. Sometimes counterintuitively, like
Yeah.
the slower music is actually like way harder.
Yeah, yeah. Every time
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, whatever. Like, I'll just, you know, what? No, that's when it kicks me in the butt. Like, it's all hard. I think all of it's hard. It just depends on how much detail you want to give to it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. We'll be repping the Alberta metal scene. We'll
I hope so.
resurrect it from the ground up.
Yeah, like yeah. There's like, you know, I think there's you know, metal I think goes in ebbs and flows and stuff, and there's like things. There's a big trends right now in metal. Again, like the production style of metal is very like slammed and extremely extremely
I hate
loud.
it. I actually can't I almost can't stand to listen to it anymore. Like,
I know. I don't like it either. And again, like art is usually a response to some other art that you have a disdain for.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Right? Like you know, the Ramones didn't like bands like Fleetwood Mac and other kind of softer rock, so they're like, no, we have a vision for how punk should be. And then, you know, hardcore guys, hardcore punk, same thing. They're like, we like the Ramones, but I think we can do something a little different. And then thrash comes along. Who knows, right?
So true. It's like real side note here, but the Ramones underrated downpicking band.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about stamina, man? Oh my god.
Yeah, and they would play probably like 30 songs in a night, I'm sure,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
they were 2 minutes long and they were a headliner. It's crazy. No, the Ramones, I'm a big fan of the Ramones. Like that's just a classic, fantastic rock band.
Yeah, man.
Like they're just fantastic. I love the Ramones. That's also a very authentic style of music where it's just the instrument and it's just the raw talent of these guys and that's it. It's great. It's ultra simple and stuff, but that's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that we kind of, you know, obviously been talking to you for like what, year and a half now, maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, we kind of arrived at the same conclusions a little bit independently here. And there's another guy I actually want to shout out to, Michael Chavez of Hemotoxin, down in I think he's in the Bay Area, California. He basically did the same thing with his band Hemotox. I think I said it to you, but he like recorded his own stuff, and it's really old sounding. You know, he recorded all himself.
Awesome.
I know that's check out that if you like his music, go check out Hemotox and His Loss. But yeah, it seems like there seems to be like this sort of, I don't want to say like counterculture. That sounds like a little bit too pompous, but this sort of like reaction to how clean and precise and robotic. It sounds like people put all the time and effort into their own art, and you can make whatever art you want. But at least for me personally, you know, metal needs to be a little bit dirty, a little bit grimy.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Like
it can't be so polished and perfect. It's too much.
But then, and I think that as well. But then it's like, well, at Necrophage Epitaph is perfect, but it's perfect in a different way.
Yes,
it's perfect in a. I think that what saves that sound is that the fact it was recorded, mic'd up. Yes. And the fact that there wasn't snapping to perfection. There was like, you had to play it, whether how small the recording was. But because that's interesting, because like nowadays, if you just were like, oh, I'm going to do something that is also perfect, you're not going to capture that essence that Epitaph has. So it's like.
Yeah, and Epitaph also is produced in a way that's not so overwhelming and like perfect.
It's extremely not fatiguing.
Yes,
it's like super smooth to hear.
I guess that's a better word to put it than perfect. Like fatiguing to me, at least. Like so much of the stuff is so loud.
Yeah,
like each kick is like hurting my ears, especially because I listen to music like almost all the time on AirPods. You know what I mean? It's like it's too much, bro. Like
fatiguing. A lot of death metal is fatiguing, and that's just the nature of it and stuff. Like even Cannibal Corpse is fatiguing. I love Investigation Plague. That's my favorite album. Like. that album's not as fatiguing as others, but like, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like this guitar tone is like kind of getting to my head, and I just need to kind of shake it out a little. Epitaph is not like that at all.
Yes.
Like it's this weird mix between like brutal but also extremely clean. It's almost so clean at some points it's hard to remember that it's distorted.
Yeah. Lots of not very much distortion on those guitars too.
I would say that amp was probably had its gain at 11 o'clock or noon at the most. At the most.
Same with like Symbolic too. A lot of distortion on the guitars on Symbolic.
No,
Very clean album as well.
that tone I find they fixed it in Sound of Perseverance. I think Symbolic's tone is far more sandy and scratchy.
Yeah.
It's buzzier. It's buzzier.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure if you kind of hear that, but it's definitely buzzier. Whereas Sound of Perseverance, again, it's like it may have been the same gear. It probably was the same gear. The way that mic'd it up, if they had the SM57 here versus here, it'll change everything, right? So
that's funny. Sound of Perseverance, I think it's my favorite guitar tone of all time, man. It's so like fiery.
that's the most perfect,
Love it.
clean metal guitar tone I've ever heard.
Yes,
And by clean,
so
I mean
good.
just like audible kind of stuff. Like, but probably the sickest tone ever is Carcass's Hard Work.
Hard Work. Yeah.
That's that's the sickest tone ever. It's just like so metal. Whereas,
So
but it's
nasty
not
and
as clean.
snarly.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's not as clean as Sound of Perseverance, and it doesn't. It's not my kind of vibe for like. I like Angle sound, which is the, like Epitaph sound and Onset, and kind of what I'm doing as well, and whoever. But yeah, no, it's big fan of guitar tone. I could talk about it all day.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. You ever listen to Bolt Thrower?
A long time ago I did. I remember seeing a video that you were talking about all that stuff.
You check out the album like Those Once Loyal. That's like another really
Okay, you have to check
interesting,
it out.
like well written, sort of concise album. And that was an album they knew it was going to be their last album too.
Which year was that?
2005, and they ended up touring until like 2016 after that. So
Interesting.
it was like, this is our last album.
They I think they either headlined or co-headlined with Necrophagus in 2006.
You do probably.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
did. Yes, it was a European tour, and they co-headlined with them or something like that. And or I forget who had top billing, but both rowers like, is it thrashy or is it just death metal?
Like super death metal. The early stuff is sort of more kind of like, I guess, grindcore influence, but then
Interesting.
those Once Loyal, it's hard to say, is like very like mid-paced, just sort of like pummeling death metal, I guess you
Yeah,
could say.
totally.
Yeah.
That's
really
no,
good
I
too.
got to check them out. I listened to Left Hand Path like last year for the first time, which is really cool.
Really?
I know.
Insane good album too.
I again like once like my exploratory metal side of things happened in 2009 2010, but again like once I find stuff I like, I kind of just like it's not a good trait, but I kind of get focused on it and just kind of forget about the other stuff. But there's amazing metal out there. But yeah, I kind of after I found Death and Necrophagus like that, I was like, all right, I'm here. I found it.
Yeah, well, I've been in that path too, right? How many times,
But
I'm like, oh, what am I going to listen to? Get in the car. Oh, there's Symbolic again. Okay.
yeah, I could do the same stuff over and over for a long time.
Yeah.
I love repetition. I love the same stuff. That's why I like to just that's why my stuff is just as focused and kind of you could say one dimensional. Like I just kind of do a few things, right? But I like that mentality.
Yeah. Do we have a name for your new album?
Not yet, but it's going to be. It'll discuss the idea of like how art and humanity is basically under siege by this technological direction that we're going in.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
Like again, Steve Jobs, big influence of mine, and so in the Apple HQ, I think even to this day, there's a painting, and it has a street sign, and it says liberal arts, technology. So Apple is. The idea of Apple was that it was the intersection of liberal arts meets technology, right? So it's this perfect balance. Whereas I find that the technology aspect is starting to completely pummel the liberal arts aspect of things.
Yeah, I think that's a very astute assessment, man.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this. Like next year we'll probably be able to see a full motion picture film in AI that was never actually drawn by an animator, whether it was digital or handmade. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Right? Like I don't know what's going to be the future for music and stuff. Like, can I just prompt Tech Death Band out of AI and be done?
Well, actually, funny enough, I don't know if you saw this, but like the big Warner music groups and like some of the big record labels actually just like did a settlement, and there's like another class action lawsuit going through as well about all this stuff, because they're like, if you're training, if your AI models are being trained on my songs, my data, whatever you'd say, right? You should be paid for that at the
Yeah.
very least. So yeah, it seems like there's going to be a lot of it's gonna be it'll be like liberal arts, technology, and then like litigation.
100%. Oh yeah, no,
So,
we're at a massive fork in the road for art right now.
Yeah,
Film, like Hollywood's in the same situation. And the music aspect as well. Everything is completely at a fork in the road right now. Now, I got to be careful because I don't like making stuff that is timely.
yeah.
I don't like that. I like stuff that is timeless. So like Repose of Souls, the concept of life and death and all the stuff in between. But if I just was talking about what's happening in 2025, that'll age it immediately, and I can't do that. So I have to crystallize that a lot better. But
you have to come up with some clever metaphors.
I guess something. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely like perhaps the idea that we instinctually as humans really like to, if once we find a new tool, is just to completely like barrel with it and just kind of overdo it.
That's a great point. And I guess maybe to bring this up, we can probably wrap it up. I assume
Totally.
We're getting close. The song "A Thousand Eyes" by Death. It's got to be one of the most prophetic songs ever. He was talking about that in 1995. Probably wrote in like 94.
He was 28.
Yeah, living in the pupil of 1,000 eyes. That's probably like the most poetic way you could ever say. We're going to be living in a surveillance state, and then look, right? There's like one camera there, your phone, probably some here, microphones on the TV. Like,
oh my gosh,
like we're living.
Oh yeah,
the
age of surveillance.
The age of advanced observance,
and all that is just a tool. Like all this stuff is a tool.
Yes,
and it's as usual we take shit way too far. Excuse my language, but you know what I mean. So I don't know how it goes with the.
Oh, you can swear all you want on YouTube now. I think
really
they changed the rules.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah, gotta poison the lands of the youth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's I watch them creating things like you can swear, but it's like just don't be swearing constantly because
totally.
Like your CPM will be lowered because advertisers don't want it, but they're not going to demonetize you for saying shit once, basically.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. But yeah, no, things are interesting right now for art and whatnot. But I don't know, just like and actually, there's another really good quote in Symbolic where he's like, I mean, without judgment, perception would increase 1,000,000 times. Like,
what do you think that means?
Well, I had a student of mine that actually explained what that means to him, and I think it's correct. Is that like the opposite of like judgment is perception.
I guess, yeah.
Right, like because if you're judging something, it's very narrowed, and then perception is just kind of more this full view of it, right? Like it's and I guess what Chuck was saying was that without judging things, your perception of things will. Your perception will increase, right? Again, judgment being very narrow, perception being very wide.
Yeah, again, like nobody was writing lyrics like this in Death Note. You know what I mean? It's like
no,
I just
and that's why Gore
next level, bro.
Dude, Gore lyrics are just so like I just don't care. And Chuck was over that by the time he was 19, probably. He was like, I'm done with this.
Well, like even leprosy, like that's kind of
actually,
but it's like a little bit not, talk about like diseases and stuff.
Yeah, leprosy's. I don't even think of that as a Gore record at all.
No, like leprosy is kind of like an ugly disease.
I think it's I think it's like kind of metaphorical. Yeah. Like leprosy is probably an old song that he wrote, but like no, Open Casket is like that's like a death song in terms of modernized death lyrics. But
yeah. Well, and then Pull the Plug, right? Very philosophical question.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So then, he was already this happens when you're recording stuff or when you're making art, is that whatever you're doing, and by the time it's recorded and done, it's basically old news.
Yes.
Like you're already, and you probably experienced that. You're already like thinking about the future and what's ahead. And Chuck for sure would have been like totally over the Gore the second that he had the masters delivered to Combat.
Yeah, like he probably got the record. So he was like, release it out, and you're like, oh my god! And then
he's like, I'm so done with this. Like,
and then Angels came out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, right. So he's already ahead of it, and all these other guys are talking about this other stuff or sounding a certain way. He's always ahead of it. Anyway, yeah, Chuck Schuldiner, best guy ever. We saw the Death show here, absolutely incredible. Worth the flight, worth the investment. Definitely go and see acts that are important to you, because you might not have a chance to do it again, right? Like to close it off, right? I guess like. Life can end so fast, so take your chance to make it last, right?
Absolutely. I don't have anything to add.
thanks for hanging out with me.
I'm fortunate, man. I get to meet him in person for the first time.
Yeah, it's first time to meet him too. So sick, man. Like, yeah. Love this guy's music, his content.
Appreciate
Watch
it.
some
Likewise.
times, Maybe next time I'll have to come over to maybe we'll drive down to Calgary and I'll play the
either be
backing
up there
track
or
and
you-
rip a solo or something like that.
Anytime, man. Anytime, that'd be an honor. But yeah, I'll either go up there or you'll be down in Calgary.
Okay, boys. Thanks for
See you
tuning
later.
in. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, you're real OGs.
Thank you.
You love this nerdy shit, so hey, cheers.
Awesome.